The most stomach-turning case of child pornography that you will hear probably all month. It involves a high school student, a 17-year-old charged as an adult, and I would say you won't believe what happened to him in both the court system and the school system. But given that we as conservatives know too much about both, you probably will believe it. Before we get into any of that, nationwide keyword this hour in the Fall Fortune Cap, we are going to issue our standard warning here for sensitive potential material. I was made aware of a very disturbing story that's coming out of Kenosha County, Twin Lakes to be precise. And I just want to warn you, if you've got kids in the car, if you're on your way to football practice or something like that, or you're taking your kid home from school a little later, they stayed afterwards for the after-school program, or whatever it is, you're out and about, you got kids in the car, I will give you permission to turn off the show or turn it down for, let's go 10 minutes, just so you don't have to answer any uncomfortable questions. A 17-year-old Wilmot High School student who was released on signature bond, even though the Kenosha County District Attorney's Office requested a $10,000 bond, was allowed to go to Wilmot High School today. It was not until his classmates started saying, hey, wasn't this guy just charged yesterday with child possession, possession of child pornography? How is he in school today? He made it all the way to fifth period before school administrators said, yeah, we should probably send him home. The story from Kenosha County I. In a stunning courtroom moment Tuesday, a Twin Lakes man accused of possessing multiple illegal videos involving children was released on a signature bond after the Kenosha County DA's office requested $10,000 cash bail. The decision by Court Commissioner William Michel II drew audible reactions from the gallery as Michel reportedly shouted at the prosecutor before refusing to impose any cash requirement. Jason A. Katarba, 17, of Twin Lakes. So he's not technically a man. The story says man. He is being charged as an adult. Prosecutors do have the discretion of charging. And, of course, the most famous case of this was the Slender Man stabbing suspects, who you'll recall were charged as adults with the attempted murder of their friend. He was charged with 5 counts of possession of child pornography, each a Class I felony. According to a criminal complaint, Katarba said 3 to 10-year-olds are the hottest, but no babies, though they're I can't even finish that sentence. I truly say this, folks, to illustrate how dangerous this young man is. Twin Lakes detective began investigating Katarba after receiving 2 reports from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children indicating an account on the chat platform Discord using the handle, it's profane, Switchblade Face Bleep, and an email associated with Katarba had uploaded videos that appeared to show the exploitation of minors. The IP address used for the uploads was traced to Katarba's residence on Lance Drive in Twin Lakes. Police executed a search warrant in July, seized multiple electronic devices. Investigators allege that Katarba's messages on Discord showed him exchanging explicit files and discussing inappropriate material. When interviewed, he admitted to having adult content on his school-issued Chromebook, but denied that any of it was illegal. There was an initial court appearance on Tuesday, yesterday. The DA's office wanted $10,000 cash bail because of the seriousness of the charges and the disturbing nature of the allegations. But in an unexpected move, Court Commissioner Michel rejected the request and ordered Katarba released without posting any cash. Several courtroom attendees said Michael raised his voice at the prosecutor before issuing the decision. It remains unclear whether Judge Chad Kerkman, who previously handled earlier matters in the case, had any influence on Tuesday's ruling, though some in attendance speculated that Kerkman may have directed the release. Katarba will be back in court for a preliminary hearing on November 4th. Because he was released, and because he's a student at Wilmot High School, he went right back to school. Now, generally speaking, someone charged with child pornography is not allowed to be anywhere near what? Children! The idea that a court commissioner would release him without having to put anything up so he could go right back to school. Now, I can give Wilmot High School the benefit of the doubt. Is it possible they did not know that the appearance was that day? Is it possible they did not know that these charges were issued? Yes. Is it likely? Not particularly. No. How did they allow this kid to go to school? You just put every single other student who is in that school, and more disturbingly, the very young students in your middle and elementary school feeders, in danger by putting this guy, giving him the very access to children that he wants to potentially take his disturbing perversion to the next step. The fact that he's 17 years old and would be put in jail while he is awaiting trial with adult criminals is unfortunate, but so is him going on Discord talking about liking hot 3-year-olds. This is a pervert and someone who cannot under any circumstances be allowed to be around children. His age is, in that sense, irrelevant. If anything, his age makes him more dangerous because he has closer access to the very children he has been preying on. Now, the school may have an excuse. The school may come out and say, hey, look, we had no idea when we realized what was going on by 5th period when this was apparently, I'm told, the talk of the school, like, hey, this guy's charged with child porn now. Why is he sitting in study hall? They immediately got him out of there. I would assume he is not going to be allowed back to school. Now, there are rights associated with that because Wilmot High School is a public high school. This student would theoretically still have the right to go to class, even though he's charged with such a disturbing crime. This is why we have people charged with disturbing crimes held in prison, held in jails until they can be tried, at which point they are removed to prison. At least that's how society used to work. Back in the before times when we actually cared about keeping the public safe from violent, sexual, deviant, pervert criminals and not giving them access to the very... And what is it with Racine and Kenosha counties? Last week before that, we were reporting on the pervert at the Racine Aquatic Center. You had Racine Unified School District, which maintains control over the aquatic center. The staff there say, well, nothing we can do. It's a dude who wants to use the women's locker room. Well, he was getting out of his bikini, going to the parking lot across the street and pleasuring himself, thinking about being in the presence of so many women in various states of undress. This 17-year-old is around, I'm assuming 17 years old. He's probably a senior in high school, maybe a junior in high school. Is he getting sexually aroused looking at middle school students at a nearby building or high school freshmen? Like, look, I know teenagers by their nature are little balls of hormones, but this is someone who is a dangerous sexual predator. And putting him right back in to a building that happens to have hundreds of potential victims strikes me as the absolute wrong thing to do. When you have got a prosecutor saying, look, we think given the nature of this crime, given the fact that not only, and I don't want to speculate about mental state, but given what I know about defendants as young as this, the risk is not that the 17-year-old would be a flight risk per se. The risk is that he kills himself. The risk is that there is a suicide because he doesn't want to face prison. He doesn't want to face trial and all of this. That should weigh into the decision. We just amended the Wisconsin Constitution so that you can say, all right, because of the severity of this crime, because of the need to protect the public, we need to put you in jail until we need you away from society until you can be tried because your crimes are just so heinous. One would think that child pornography or child sexual crimes in general would be such that someone would need to be locked away because the fetish, the perversion doesn't just go away. This is a drive. I mean, I want you to think about who you are sexually attracted to. Hopefully it's your wife. Obviously, you know, it's my wife and my wife only. I don't even look at other women. I put blinders on like I am a thoroughbred, so I am only looking at my wife. But think about, could you change that? Could you just be gay? Could you just be attracted to your hairy buddy sitting next to you at the bar? No, you could not. It's the same thing for people who are sexually attracted to children. That's what makes it so dangerous. It's that they cannot, they literally cannot help themselves. It's a massive problem. And I'm not saying they need to be locked up forever, but I am saying they are especially dangerous because you can stop robbing convenience stores, right? You get busted enough, eventually you're going to say, hey, you know what? Maybe this is a really bad idea. For someone who is sexually attracted to children, there isn't, all of the psychological research will tell you the same thing. There just is not an end to it. If it wasn't for that pesky, cruel and unusual punishment amendment, I am a strong, strong proponent of chemical castration. I really am. I just think that's the, you know, you have too many DUIs, you lose your car. If you use your gun to hurt somebody in an illegal way, even if you're a licensed firearm, you'll lose your gun. If you're using your you-know-what to harm people, you should lose your, I'm not saying like, you know, cut it off. Democrats only want to do that when you say you're a woman this week. I'm saying you have chemicals that reduce or eliminate the sexual desire or the ability to, shall we say, become sexually aroused.